Hello, I am Rangaraju Venugopal from Bangalore, India. To gain an astonishing knowledge of God, please watch the video till the end. Olivi was one of the most well-known philosophers and theologians of the 13th century. He says pagans study earth and space science and asks what exactly have pagan philosophers discovered about the earth or space. We notice that a great sage Markandeya in the Vishnu Dharmottara, a treatise on Indian painting and image making, specifies that it is a complex rendering of the linga by worshipping whom the adoration of the earth is completed. Next we observe that anointment of linga involves liquids similarly named as the seven oceans of the earth specified in the Hindu earth concept of Jambudvipa. Next we observe that the top view of linga produces a similar picture to modern representation of the earth and its inner core. Sri Chakra that is carved on the top portion of linga also resembles solar wind pattern developed inside the earth as provided by NASA. There are 5 items used in anointment of linga, that is Panchamrita Abhishek. They are honey, liquid jaggery, milk, curd and ghee. The 7 oceans of the earth are salt, sugarcane, liquor, milk, ghee, curds and water. In place of sugarcane, we use any byproduct of sugarcane, and in place of liquor, we use honey. Since there is presence of salt in everything that we use, we skip the salt ocean. And finally, linga will be anointed with fresh water, which makes it the 7th ocean. After the anointment with 7 ocean liquids, to indicate the life forms on earth, we decorate linga with flowers and leaves. It is not a coincidence that the top view of the linga appears like the modern representation of the earth and its inner core. We have already spoken about the scriptures specifying distance of sun and moon from earth, of which the accurate results were considered as coincidental by Westerns. We can see a Sri Chakra carved on top of the linga. Krishna Kumar in his article specifies that these are patterns created by the game of light when the father of light started creation. Each one taking different patterns and shapes. These are considered as the signs of God, which we refer and revere as different gods. Thus in Upanishads, it is said that he himself is all the gods. These are merely the names of his acts, and there is no place for polytheism in Hinduism. It is also said that if one thinks one deity is different from other deity, he is like an animal to the gods. Thus, all gods of Hindus are merely one and only gods, light forms, acts and attributions in various steps of creation. Here we can observe the similarity between the Sri Chakra and modern solar wind pattern on the earth core. Hindus said it is the game of light rays, whereas NASA termed it as solar wind pattern. Both Quran and Bible states that we can bring a sign of God from earth beneath, whereas both of them are completely restricted to use any of the symbol of God or signs. As it is said in Mahabharata that virtue will be completely lost in the Kali epoch, ancient wisdom of spirituality and knowledge of science was continuously destroyed using Abrahamic religions. Whether to reproduce or to serve the signs of God, any restrictions were not burdened upon us. The date specified when Adam was created does not go beyond 6 to 7,000 years, whereas ancients of the world still exists here. Hence, though the God is one for all of us, we humans are from 2 generations, one of the old and the other of the Adam's generation. Now as we know, Hindus did not consider earth to be flat. Their belief of Jambudvipa is that earth is made of 7 concentric spheres but not 7 concentric circles. Thus the first core, which is 100,000 yojanas, is the surface area of the first sphere. The concept of Jambudvipa was totally misconceived without understanding that the living beings mentioned in the books of spiritual beings, which made Hindus to search this sphere on the surface of the earth. Calculating the surface area of the first sphere, we get its radius as 1148 kilometers, whereas modern seismic value shows it as 1200 kilometers. In the book, it will be detailed about the old world order and new world order and the aspects of Jambudvipa. We will detail why Yojana should be accurately 8 miles and discuss about other wrong values. Now we will consider why Earth's inner core is so special for religions. Hinduism says God is present within the earth. Sikhism says you should recognize the Lord both in the underworld and the upper world. Judaism specifies God's presence in the earth in simple form. If God's presence is there in midst of the earth, then it is called heaven. Thus, a group called Yarde Markava mentions descent to heaven and not ascent. Christianity specifies the presence of God in midst of the earth, which Christians will understand towards end of time. The stone Omphalos, which resembles Linga, is also known as navel of the earth. Indeed, other than inner core, what else can be navel of the earth? Which can be center of the earth? In our simple-mindedness, we have all tried to identify the religious center of our earth within our geographical limits. Also, the carving on the Omphalos appears as the Rudraksha beads, which is sacred for Hindus. As Rudraksha means eye of Shiva, carving on Omphalos might reflect the concept of all-seeing eyes. A simple circle and a center point was considered as most auspicious symbol in the ancient time, where center point represented the God within earth in simple form. As infinity cannot be brought into any form or shape, the circle represented only the universe, and outside this circle, God is present in an infinite light form. Thus, our ancients considered earth-centered universe not by observing the solar system. In Hinduism, it is said that whatever is here, it is there, and vice versa. It simply means microcosm and macrocosm are one and the same. Simple and infinite forms are one and the same. Further, it states that this is that, which states these two are not different. In God's words, it is said that Aham Tat, which means who is within the earth and that who is above are one and the same. Bible's I am that I am and Zoroastrian's Ahmi Yat Ahmi also specifies the same thing, that this is I am and that is also I am. This is why Hermetism specifies as above, so below. In Islam, Allah is specified as Wal Zahiru, the outward, and Wal Batinu, the inward. This is why in Taoism it is said, Tao that can be told or named is not the eternal Tao. Since no one has seen or heard the eternal Tao, Bible too specifies no one has seen or heard the God. Whereas what it specifies, who is seen and heard is the one who is within the earth. There is no contradiction in it. The knowledge forms were completely destroyed as told in the 1 Corinthians 1:18-1:19. Upanishad says there are two knowledge forms, higher and the lower. Thomas Aquinas observes twofold knowledge forms. One is of the lower causes and the other of the higher causes. Guru Granth confirms these two are one and the same. Al-Ghazali says descent to the lowest heaven is the goal of goals. Tao says these two have come together and they are one and the same. Emerald Tablets of Thought specifies that the divine light is encompassing the whole universe, and within earth what is there is also infinite form that is hidden in a finite place. Mesopotamians too believed that God exists in heaven and the underworld. We have seen all the underworlds. We have seen both the signs and the spiritual beings. But if science cannot still see these spiritual beings, we are not at fault. Because nothing remains a secret that will not become manifest, nor did God hide anything which will not be known or will be stopped. The end of time is near, so truths are being revealed. What was not possible for me to reveal in 10 years is revealed today. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to get notified of next video. The next video I will reveal more truths and hidden signs. Until then, enjoy the presence of God. Thank you.